From antiquity till modern times, the civilizations and states that have made technological strides in the shipping industry have gained supremacy in the seas and thus controlled world trade and commerce. Be it the Roman and the Greek navies in ancient times, Spanish Armada and the Royal British Navy in the medieval times, or the Japanese Imperial Navy and the United States Navy in modern times, their domination of world channels of trade and commerce were directly proportional to the advancements in their respective shipbuilding industries. Now, with China's rise at an unprecedented rate coupled with Xi Jinping's paranoia, Beijing's ego has also inflated immensely. It has now decided that it wants to dominate the shipbuilding industry, thereby controlling international trade and commerce. While China may hold such pompous goals, other countries are not just going to step aside without giving a big fight. But the question remains, who will challenge the Chinese shipbuilding industry and how? Hi and welcome to TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I am your host Shubhangi, and in this video I will tell you how South Korea can beat China's shipbuilding industry. Let's begin. The value of worldwide maritime products transportation business is in the trillions of dollars, and it is steadily expanding. Even though the shipping business has seen its fair share of ups and downs due to economic crises and the industry's financially fragile character, worldwide demand appears to be growing at a steady pace. A country with a thriving shipbuilding sector can dominate international trade as well as become a major player in the international naval industrial complex. South Korea has realized these prospects, and the shipbuilding giant has finally woken up from its long slumber. The capacity of South Korea in shipbuilding is so immense that even subtle yet targeted policy shifts are bound to send ripples in its shipbuilding rival Beijing's decision-making echelons. The Korean shipbuilding giant Samsung has already given a jolt to the Chinese ship manufacturing industry as it closed down its factory, marking a permanent shift in South Korean policy. South Korean shipbuilding giant Samsung Heavy Industries or SHI recently announced the closure of its plant Ningbo in the eastern Chinese provinces of Xishan. While one cannot deny how China has risen in the ranks of ship manufacturers, it was partially due to the investments and production units set up by South Korean shipbuilding giants. So what is the South Korean shipbuilding industry actually like? The East Asian tigers have long dominated the modern shipbuilding industry, with South Korea and China competing against one another regularly. During the 1970s, South Korea began its foray into the industry, eventually surpassing its neighbor Japan to become the world's leading shipbuilder. Currently, out of the 8 major shipbuilding companies of the world, 4 are based out of South Korea. Hyundai Heavy Industries, Daewoo Shipbuilding and Marine Engineering, Samsung Heavy Industries, and STX Offshore and Shipbuilding. The combined revenue of these companies was $70.81 billion, making the South Korean shipbuilding industry a serious manufacturer. The China Challenge. Even after having a mature shipbuilding industry, South Korea's lack of an integrated policy approach created the opportunity for China to become the major player in this sector. China has overtaken South Korea's position in recent years, with the Chinese Communist Party's support and investment in its shipbuilding industry. The China Shipbuilding Group, headquartered in Beijing, was founded in 2019 by the merging of China's 2 major shipbuilding corporations, China State Shipbuilding Corporation and China Shipbuilding Industry Corporation, making it the world's largest shipbuilding company. China's unparalleled expansion of naval power is backed by the world's greatest shipbuilding sector. After designating shipbuilding as a strategic industry, China provided substantial support in the form of tax breaks, loans, and subsidies. According to the 2019 UNCTAD review of maritime transport, China builds 40% of the world's merchant shipping, with Japan and South Korea each accounting for 25%. China's emphasis on civil-military integration has assured that the PLA Navy's warship and submarine building programs benefit directly from the civil shipyard's advanced facilities and competent staff. Nonetheless, South Korea maintained a substantial presence in the shipbuilding industry, and its major businesses are too big for China to overthrow easily. Given the supply chain crisis and the drying up of investments and exodus of industries from China, the possibility of South Korea's attempted reclamation of the top spot in the shipbuilding sector can surely become a reality. South Korea is intent on beating China in the shipbuilding industry. South Korea has set lofty aspirations for its shipbuilding industry, which it wants to dominate within the next 10 years. A new strategy released by the country this September is sure to irritate China, the world's largest shipbuilding nation. The Ministry of Trade, Industry and Energy of South Korea has set a target of shipbuilders to capture up to 75% of the market share for environmentally friendly boats with low or no carbon emissions by 2030, up from 66% currently. It also aims for a 50% market share for autonomous ships in the same time frame, a market that has yet to be developed. In his speech, President Moon Jae-in declared, "We will strengthen the power of a shipbuilding industry and make it the overwhelming number one in the world that no one can match. Our shipbuilding industry has regained its standing as the greatest in the world this year and the biggest order volume in 13 years. Now is the moment to strengthen the shipbuilding sector." The comments come as the sector is experiencing a significant resurgence this year, with an increase in new building orders and the South Korean shipyards benefiting the most. For the first 8 months of 2021, they together won orders for 329 ships or 13.7 million in compensated gross tonnage terms, nearly sixfold the tonnage contracted during the year-ago period, according to Clarkson's data. The technological expertise and experience in building gas carriers have enabled the South Korean builders to grab commanding heights when it comes to clinching deals for dual-fuel ships. Between January to June this year, they struck deals to construct 4.8 million CGT of fresh tonnage that can run on alternative fuels, accounting for 70.1% of the world total. The state-supported rise of Chinese shipbuilding prowess has made the South Korean government do some much-needed introspection, which has resulted in Seoul trying to improve the shipping industry by addressing the issues the South Korean companies face. South Korea's shipbuilding industry has been its major economic sector. However, due to the cyclical nature of the sector and its strong ties to oil prices, shipbuilders have had to face some challenges. In addition to the difficulties, the rise of China as a major player in this sector has made South Korea wake up from its slumber. Now, with the conservatives poised to replace the Moon government, Seoul stands ready to restructure its shipping industry and put an end to the rise of the Chinese shipping industry.